Welcome to the Irish Craft Beer Show, where you join us in the Convention Centre in Dublin. My name is Brian Condren, as you should hopefully know at this point, and joining me, of course, is John the Beer Nut Duffy. How's it going, John?
Not too bad.
And we're in the Convention Centre in Dublin, which is kind of a more exotic location than we're normally used to.
It's exotic, it's peaceful, it's kind of nice, where they're just kind of disassembling things around us at the moment, so we find a quiet room with surfaces and seats.
And why the hell are we here? We're here for the Alltech Craft Beer and Food Fair, the third annual.
Apparently, yeah, that's happening downstairs somewhere.
There's a, what is this? 59 breweries from 24 countries are showing off their wares downstairs, including 11 food producers, 5 cider makers, and 4 musical acts. Wow. I didn't sample only the musical acts.
I didn't say, well, the 4 musical acts is 4 too many at a beer festival.
4 too many.
Especially when you're trying to record audio.
Yeah.
Alltech is an American company based in Kentucky that makes agricultural products as well as being involved in the brewing and the distilling industries. The Alltech Craft Brews and Food Fair is the brainchild of founder and president Irish-American Dr. Pierce Lyons. The fair runs twice a year, once in Lexington, Kentucky every May and in February in Dublin. This year's show has more than 60 exhibitors, including breweries from all over Europe and further afield, distilleries and artisan food makers. One of the highlights of the fair is the Dublin Beer Cup. A panel of independent beer experts judge the beers submitted by craft breweries, awarding them bronze, silver and gold medals based on quality. This year there were more than 400 entries from 100 breweries in 24 countries, but there can only be one winner. Last year it was the Cody Brewery from Denmark that won. Who will it be this year? Here's the announcement.
We have 114 bronze medals, 6 silver medals, and 10 gold medals. And they had to work really hard for those gold medals. So we have our gold medalists here. And now, we would like to show you our gold medalists. These are our 10 gold medalists, superb beers. Let's give them a hand. Because they all had such high scores, but there was one that just floated above the others, and the judges said, "This is the one. This is the one."
The winner is, hey, our Danish friends. Up you come, Denmark.
Coysbo retaining their crown there. In 2014 they won with Coysbo number 4 Imperial State, and in 2015 it's Coysbo number 11 Sherry Aged Imperial State.
Congratulations, guys. Amazing beers. The judges said, "This is the one," and it was unanimous. How you've done it 2 years in a row, I don't know, but it's the way to go. Way to go. Congratulations.
Okay, let's hear it for Denmark.
From the Dublin Beer Cup to Bure Beer of the Year 2015, Ruben Gray presents the trophy to 8 Degrees Brewing for the full Irish IPA. Check out the entire interview with Scott from 8 Degrees on the Irish Craft Beer Show feed.
Scott, congratulations on winning Beer of the Year for 2015 for the full Irish. Were you expecting this?
Hell no. I mean, to be honest, we aspire to the Bure Award. Like, we do respect the Bure Annual Awards as sort of one of the most critical awards in the country in the turn of the year. So we were keeping tabs on how like when the awards would be released. But I mean, we were completely blown away that would pick up first base. It was a great honour for us to get that.
There were plenty of Irish craft breweries in attendance, like old favourites Blacksmith Kinsale, the Franciscan Well, Hilden and White Gypsy. From the Dungarvan Brewery in County Waterford, here's John talking to head brewer Cormac O'Dwyer.
Yeah, 5 years ago, we were out there by, producing bottle conditioned beers. Yeah. Now you have breweries who just do saisons, you have brewers who just do extreme beers. So that's how things have progressed, I suppose.
But certainly when Dungarvan got going, one of the big first things I noticed was the cask and the bottle conditioning. And that was sort of a USP. Nobody else was really doing cask, or at least not in the same way that you were. And you've now moved to keg. So is that does that mean, is there a future for cask beer in Ireland? Is there a signal there?
I think there's a future for cask beer in Ireland. I think if if we were basing our business plan on selling cask beer in Ireland, I wouldn't be here.
Okay.
But I mean, it was never. We started off day one. We were bottling our beers. The cask came along then as well. It'll come. It's just coming slowly. So last year we started kegging. Now we keg condition, so we try and still keep it as close to the beer in the bottle as we can. What it means for the public is you give them something with a tapping head they understand. You give them a draft system they understand. What we're trying to do is keep the beer inside as close to what we would put in.
So it's not as much of a hard sell. It's not as much as of explaining an alien concept to a potential customer.
Definitely for a public, and it's a system they understand. For us and for the beer drinkers, it's still conditioned in the keg. We use key kegs, so I mean, we tick all the camera boxes if that's your thing. There's no gas coming in contact, but it just means whatever we condition the beer at, it should keep pretty much at that. With a bit of trial and error, but I mean, I don't think key kegs were designed for having sediment stuck to the bottom of it. But we're always kind of trying to tweak it because I think it's a system that does work and does keep it as close to sort of our ethos as possible.
You seem to have in the last couple of years settled on your core range and then a calendar of seasonals that's almost consistent. There's maybe one or two new ones every year. Is that the intention? Are you trying to sort of get an equilibrium of a steady calendar of seasonals, or are you more playing about?
It's probably a combination. We've never actually had an official autumn beer, so this will be our first year to have one.
Right.
But yeah, we have a core range of 4 now because we added a Mine Head last year. So the plan will be have 4 seasonal beers as well, of which we have 3 at the moment, and then we'd like to, in between that, do one-offs. Now, up until this point, our one-offs have been more just popping up at festivals. So the next phase, I suppose, is now we want to start bottling one-offs or getting more kind of one-offs that aren't necessarily tied to festivals, just to kind of divide up in between, so we'll have our seasonals and then some one-offs as well.
From Dungarvan, County Waterford, all the way to Waterford City, here's Tim from Metalman.
We're having a good start to 2015. Got the cans launched and out the door finally.
How are the cans going? How are they being received?
Pretty well. The demand's been beyond our expectations so far. So we're going to turn our attention onto upgrading the brew house and putting more tanks in. Because we're getting tight on having enough beer.
Okay. Will the rest of the world get the benefit of the cans? Are you planning to export or keeping it local?
We are going to Northern Ireland from the first shipment's due to go next week. So we're going up to the north imminently. We've been talking to distributors in Sweden and some in the UK, but really for the next while, until we get a really good feeling for how demand for cans goes domestically, we're not making any commitments to export further till certainly later on this year, but yeah, it's in the plan. We'll get there.
You've always had a very good line in special editions and one-offs and rotationals and all of that. We're just at the start of the festival season. What can we expect at future festivals this year?
That would entail me having an actual production plan that I stick to. And
what would you like there to be? We won't hold you to it.
What I'd like to do in the next while is try out some new hops. We haven't tried anything really hoppy for a while. What I'd like to do is find the hops to do Windjammer.
Yeah.
Because that's been a tough one to get hold of, and I really like doing that beer. So I don't know, just more interesting yet accessible beers, I hope.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. We'll leave it there.
See you later.
We spent some time sampling beers with some excellent festival specials from Rye River, including their lovely Berliner Weiss. Rascal's Ginger Porter was in fine form, and Trouble Brewing debuted a few new beers. But all we cared about was beer number 2, star of episode 13. Keep an eye out in the feed for some tasting notes. Up next, John chats to Quincy from Wicklow Wolf Brewing in Bray.
Okay, so here with Quincy from the Wicklow Wolf Brewing Company, which is based in Bray. Tell us the Wicklow Wolf story, because they're quite new.
We are only selling beer since the end of September last year. There's two of us involved, myself and Simon, and so we go our own hops in the harvest, should I say. We're going very well so far. We have a 10-bar brewery, and we have 100 bars of fermentation at the moment, and thankfully we've been busy since we started.
And is most of your beer staying local, or Dublin, or abroad?
At the moment, most of it is staying local. It's within County Wicklow and Dublin, County Dublin and Wexford. We have plans to move further afield sooner rather than later.
You have quite a big range. I was quite surprised to see week after week there's another new.
Yeah,
you have 4 or 5 core beers?
We have 4 core beers. American Amber, Kentucky Common, India Pale Ale and a Black Pearl Porter. Then we'll probably bring out 1 or 2 seasonals, for want of a better word, every quarter. We've had a fresh hop blonde ale, was our first seasonal. It's got a 5-inch light blonde saison that we just released yesterday.
Okay, so we're here with Kevin from the Jack Cody's Brewery in Drogheda. Kevin, how long have you guys been going?
We've been up and running since July last year. So we started up with the brewery there in Drogheda, and we've been going well. You know, it's about 8 or 9 months now that we've been up and running.
Yeah, and what are your beers?
We started producing a Pilsner and an Amber Ale as part of our core range when we first started off, and our idea was to produce beers that were going to be appealing to more than just the craft beer drinker out there.
Sure.
We wanted something that was going to be easy to drink, relatively sort of inoffensive, you know, that people would enjoy. Something that your macro beer drinker out there would be able to pick up and say, oh, actually, that's nice.
Yeah.
So that's what we did with our Pilsner. And then with our Amber Ale, we sort of developed the beer that we wanted to drink ourselves.
Yes,
you know, we were a little bit selfish with that one. You know, we said, what do we like to drink? Myself and Jeff both said, okay, yeah, we like a beer with a bit of roasted malt in there. We wanted to pick up on toffee, caramel flavours, but something that was going to still pack that bit of a hot punch as well. And I think we've done it.
Why do you hate IPA?
I don't hate IPAs.
Where's your IPA?
It's on the way.
Okay. Just so we know, just so we're clear. Where did we get your beer?
Most independent hop licenses throughout Dublin. We'll
so
stock
your
our
bottles?
beers. We're bottling most of our product at the moment. We have a few different lines here and there. In the local market in Drogheda, the likes of McPhail's, Cairns Bar, we stock our beers. And then here in Dublin, like we have our Pilsner is flowing on tap in the hole in the wall.
Yep. Okay.
Beside the Phoenix Park, and then any of the good beer bars out there take a keg or two every now and again to throw in on their rotational lines, like the Headline, the Porterhouse, the Beer House.
Sure. What I have in front of me, excuse me, Brad, is a Hail Gloria St. Patrick, which is possibly the world's first session strength imperial stout.
Yes.
I haven't tasted it yet. Tell me about why do you have a session strength imperial stout?
So, we're not about high ABV beers. We wanted something that was going to be easy to drink, something that was going to be, sessionable. So with this seasonal that we've done, it comes in at 5.4% ABV. Doesn't pack that much of a punch in terms of alcohol, but the mouthfeel, everything about the beer really does give it that imperialness.
Yeah.
And because we're celebrating St. Patrick, someone glorious, and that's why it had to be imperial. It couldn't just be a normal stout.
What's next? What are you making next?
Oh, we've got something interesting in the pipeline now. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be releasing our first pale ale. You could term it as an IPA if you like. If we really need to have an IPA, that will be it. But it's a pale ale which we brewed with grapefruit and Earl Grey tea.
Nice.
So again, keeping things a little bit different, mixing it up. That's where we're going.
Of course, Alltech Craft Beer and Food Fair is also a chance to sample beer not normally found in Ireland, with visiting breweries from all over the world, including Hungary, New Zealand, Austria, Belgium, Spain, Germany, Scotland and England. My old friends from Scotland, Brewdog, were in fine form, and from England, Thornbridge showed off their new double IPA, Jaipur X. Beavertown Brewery from London had some of the best beers of the weekend, including their Blood Orange IPA, Bloody L, and a Berliner Weiss brewed in collaboration with Dogfish Head, the Londoner Weiss. Red Wolf from Norwich also showed why they should be more widely distributed this side of the Irish Sea.
So it's a new departure for the Irish Craft Beer Show. We're now moving into the Irish Craft Gin Show, which I think is not before its time. And I'm here with Kieran from the Blackwater Distillery.
That's right, yeah.
Tell me about the Blackwater Distillery.
Brand new. Literally, we rolled product out last Friday. So we're just over a week old.
And your product being gin?
Our core product is a London dry gin.
Yep.
London, it's a style as opposed to from County Waterford. And we've also, for this festival here, we've released a collaboration with Blackwater Distillery.
So it's a double black hop vodka.
So the double black comes from Blackwater Distillery, Blackwater Distillery.
Double black, yep.
And it's a double IPA.
Right.
So we just came up with
so this
double
started
black.
life as high-vis double IPA by Blackwater Distillery.
Exactly.
And you ran it through the still, and you get this very clear spirit.
Double distilled it in vodka style.
Yep.
Charcoal filtered it.
So I should get the hop character in this.
A little bit of grassiness from the hop.
Yeah, yeah. And I get a little sort of greasy resin kind of oil thing going on. Is that what you expected?
Yeah. And I find on the nose, it reminds me of a pear schnapps almost.
There's a little bit of that schnapps thing, definitely a little bit of fruit.
Whether that's coming from the hops, who knows? I mean, this was the kind of thing, it's just, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
And this
it really was.
the joy of.
And we ended up going in a different direction with it than we expected. We expected to go more in a whiskey direction.
Yep.
But hops are notoriously difficult to distill with.
Yes, of course.
And it was pretty smelly on the first distillation. So we went for a very high ABV clean and charcoal filtered it. And the fear then was that we were going to lose.
Yes.
That it was just going to taste like a clear, clean vodka. But we managed to clean it up, but keep some of those grassy notes, and keep some of the interest in it. You know?
And this isn't the first beer that you've distilled into spirits?
It's not. That one is Curious Still number 2. So it's our first one released, but it's the second one we made. The Curious Still number 1 is an unhopped Dungarvan oatmeal stout.
Okay.
Which is currently resting for 2 months in sherry cask.
So is that going to be an actual whiskey? Or?
If we left it there for 3 years, it would be.
It would be, okay. So
we can't use that word.
Right.
No, we get in trouble.
Are you allowed to call it a putching?
What does putching mean? So, I mean, to me, putching says illegally.
Right, so what are you going to call it?
We're not sure yet.
Okay.
And again, we're not sure what we'll be allowed to call it. Maybe Irish grain spirit. But we have to do a little bit more research on that we don't get into trouble for calling it something that it technically isn't.
So,
if we left that in wood for 3 years, it would be a whiskey.
Okay. And you're based in County Waterford?
In Cappoquin and County Waterford.
Cappoquin and County Waterford. And are you distilling everything from scratch yourself, or buying grain spirit, or
the gin is from a grain spirit?
It's from a grain spirit, yeah. And these ones are everything from scratch.
Fermented wash. Well, we're bringing in the fermented wash from Mike. So we would hope to do lots more collaborations with microbreweries, and it's a great thing because beer is I'm the beer head in this city. So for me, the idea of marrying beer with distilling, and to work with people like Sam and Cormac from Dungarvan, to me that's really, really exciting.
And do you think that's the next big thing in the Irish drinks trade, the artisan Irish drinks trade, is to
I hope so,
to get those?
I mean, we're the first to do something like this. I hope we won't be the last. I hope some people will keep us on our toes and start maybe doing even more interesting things to us. And I mean, a lot of it, people told us we couldn't do this, so we just had to.
Yeah, of course. That's it. Is it difficult to set up as a micro distiller in Ireland? Is there a lot of red tape?
It is, and a lot of the laws are quite arcane. We're working with Victorian legislation.
Yeah, and how did you get around that? What would your advice be to
well, to be honest, I was my colleague Peter. I really only got involved at the production stage. It's a lot of red tape. It's a lot of you just got to work through it. You have to be patient.
Yeah,
these things happen at their own pace. technically you're not allowed to still under 1,800 litres.
That's my understanding.
So you need to get an exemption.
Right.
So rather than change the law, what they do is they
Ignore it.
Ignore it. And you have to make a case, and it will go to court, and they go, yes, you can have a 200, 300 litres.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, best of luck, and thank you very much, and cheers.
Thanks very much for joining me, John. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Cheers.